Tommy, I don't want you to say anything. Nothing. We're having to change of plans. I have breaking news. I want to show you something, and I want to see your live reaction. If you've seen it already, just pretend you haven't. Actually, that's not true. If you've seen it, I want to know. Okay, here we go.
A lot of buildup.
Have you seen this?
No, the design agent who creates by your side.
All right. This is how we're starting the show today. I want to show you this. Okay, we're gonna skip the YouTube video. Explore our official use cases. This is one of my favorite demos I've ever seen of an AI product.
Love her.
Let's click this one, Billy. This little CPG branding. We're gonna click replay. You ready? Oh, okay. Hold on. It opened it in a new tab. Hold on.
Going bad already.
Nah, you kind of just hurt my feelings, guys. Hold on. Now I got to go and share my whole damn browser.
There we go. Jeez.
Okay.
Here we
All right, we're in him. Okay. Replay. I'm going to press play. Shows the prompts on the right hand. Shows some inspiration from the community. Image analyzer. It starts doing its thing. Okay.
All right. Let's go, Lovert.
New logo variations based on the feedback.
Right.
Now we're going to talk about a branding kit.
Oh.
Brand cardboard. Let's do some packaging.
Okay.
Our cans.
Vegetable flavor.
Narrowing in here. Now let's do some boxes.
We got a whole product lineup. Yep. Okay, now we got the marketing. The social posts.
That's good. These are great. Oh my God. Can we just pause for a sec? What in the hell?
That's pretty good, man.
Okay.
That is
resume.
Pretty good.
A bit cliche. Generate more stylish options. Bam.
Interesting. Okay.
This is using 4.0 under the hood for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Listen, I'm just gonna call it now.
Look how many shortcuts you have in Arc, by the way. I couldn't stop looking at that until the demo got cool.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's over. You're all fired. Pack it in. It's done. ChatGPT wins.
Yeah, there were people, Alex Solikov. There were a couple people who were like, hey, art direction, not going anywhere. The branding ability, not going anywhere. I don't know what that was. Was that Love Art? It sounded like, I think I saw Lovert. And then we rewound a whole workflow.
Sorry, I had to walk to the store and make sure the design team hadn't killed themselves.
That product was called Love Art? Lovert?
It is called Love Art, LOVART.ai.
What is going on?
And it gets more extreme than that.
That was pretty good. I am curious. So I have questions, though. Can I upload my existing brand elements and have it start doing some magic?
You probably can.
That's pretty interesting. I have not seen that. I actually am.
It's over. It's over.
Well, let me ask.
You know what really interests me? You know what really interests me right now? I got something for you. You know what would be a good pivot for our show?
What's that?
Let's make this a show about plumbing.
Just like the trades.
Let's get into
about the trades.
Yeah, plumbings. Yeah, like PEX, plumbing, and like heating and cooling,
HVAC.
and
start an
that's
HVAC company.
HVAC. Commercial HVAC. Okay. The kind that has to have the helicopters to like lift the HVAC units on top of the skyscrapers.
HVAC
That's us.
Building in public. Here we go. Would you
How am I going to afford Diet Cokes if design
me
is
ask you
doing
this.
this? You know,
Petter Knoll, your partner,
I know
one of
that
the
guy.
best designers I've come across. Fortunate to even know him and have projects associated with him via you. You wouldn't
Yeah.
replace Petter with good old Lovert, would you? You taking branding tasks off Petter's plate with Lovert?
It's not about me.
That's a non-answer.
It's not about whether or not I would replace Petter. It's about whether or not slightly tech savvy, budget conscious customers would replace off menu with something like Love Art.
True. Or also, would Petter use Love Art? Probably not. Interesting.
Probably
So
not.
we got brand studios.
Probably not.
And we're starting to see flavors of these. Nick Pattison, not the first one, but certainly one of the more recent, making the brand sprint popular right now, right? We got Brett coming in with a potential release one day. It's 5K,
Something like that,
7K,
supposedly. Yeah.
a sprint,
$7.
$7 for some Lovert.
It's 7 different forms of a dollar.
7 form. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm gonna give it a try. I mean, listen, I'm leaning into my side of the world these days, which is I kind of don't want, like, I want things to look and feel custom. If Lovert can make some custom stuff, I'm just gonna call it Lovert.
Lovert.
If it can do it,
Lovert.
I mean, I'm not opposed. I'm not opposed. I'm skeptical.
Can Love Art fix Hunter's audio sync?
Yeah. Hunter doesn't want it. He doesn't want it. He wants to make you guys guess. He hasn't even opened up.
Do I have an audio
He
sync?
hasn't even opened his packages from Amazon. What do we got today, Hunter? What do we got?
How do you know I haven't opened my packages from
Because
Amazon?
I got a drone over there that just watches through your window to see if you're actually working.
I literally have an entire table full of unopened Amazon packages right now. I feel really violated, to be honest with you.
I got some setups, man. I will have you know. I will have you know. Good friend Notion. You know what they did today? You know what they did 5 hours ago? I opened up my little Notion boopity boop. My morning rituals. Open up Notion, you know? Got a little notification, little pop-up. Boop. Said, "Hey, would you like to try Notion meeting notes?" I said, "Yeah, I would." And I did. Seems all right. I've got Granola integrated into Notion, so just like bring stuff over. Granola, who, by the way, just announced cross conversation search. So you can search all your interviews. Now, the question is, Notion rolling out meeting notes. By the way, everybody's rolling out meeting notes. The Mentor platform, ADP list, rolling out meeting notes. Everyone's rolling out meeting notes. So if that's the case, does Granola start to lose its moat? Or like Descript, who I still think has one of the best video transcription layers of the products I've tried, is Granola just like really nailing it down there? I don't know. But you're not going to know. You're not even going to try it, are you?
No comment.
Oh.
No comment.
He's reserving space for...
I'm tired of being accused of being a Notion hater. I don't hate Notion. I just don't think it's the best for most use cases.
By the way, Jane
Wong. No, hold on. By the way, we got our co-host today.
Oh, hold on. Petter.
What's up, guys?
Dude, let's give a little spotlight here. Spotlight to our boy. What is up, man?
Would you stop clicking things?
You hyped me up too much.
Today, dude. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
All of the brand assets. Petter, let me ask you this. Did you see Lover?
I did. Am I out of a job yet?
What do you think? Is
Man, I
Hunter's
can't
gonna bail?
wait.
Are you going to use
this is it?
Lover?
I'm so down.
Dude, you're going to move to a cabin in the middle of nowhere and fly fish for food. I'm so in, dude.
Interesting tools. question for you, Petter. And you've been doing a whole bunch of great work for release notes and all the other work I've seen you do. How much AI are you using in your workflow?
Oh wow, it feels like a lot these days. It's at least like
Ooh.
75%. Yeah, I'm like in
Really?
between
Say more.
ChatGPT, Kriya, yeah, everywhere. Like even with the new like Figma features, like you know, just removing backgrounds, like all of that stuff that had to happen manually inside of Photoshop previously, like that. Now it's all AI. So yeah,
There
man.
really are some like I feel like some of the quality of life improvements in Figma got overshadowed by all the like noise. I think grid is one of the dopest things they dropped. I thought that was super helpful, to be honest. And then yeah, remove background, like the little things like that. I'm gonna use that more than I use any of the other flashy shit that they
Oh yeah.
announced.
Now I just do it for fun. I just when I feel like it, I use the lasso tool.
Just torture
just
yourself.
to connect with the roots of when it was hard. I can
Yeah,
appreciate that.
it's like chopping wood.
So for those that don't know, Petter is one of the co-founders, partners at Off Menu, amongst all the other stuff that I do. Petter, I wouldn't describe you as shy, but you're not. You have one of the like highest barriers to cringe of anyone I know. Like
Yeah,
even
for
something that
myself,
feels
for
like, yeah, something that feels like slightly cringe. You're like, no. But I try and say like all the time, like, no, I would take Petter against anyone. And I mean that. Like I really would. And so last week we had Brett on the show last Tuesday. He helped me co-host. And unfortunately, there were a ton of quality issues with the stream and some of the stuff that Brett was sharing. Like the quality of the stream just wasn't good enough for us to like really kind of share in an evergreen way. So I was like, you know what we're gonna do this week? We're gonna have Petter come and show us. But before we do, what I want to talk about is this. Rid, our boy Michael Rittering, was actually here in Chicago yesterday. Him and I sat down and recorded a podcast for like an hour and 10 minutes. It'll come out in like a week or two. But the center of our conversation, which I really loved, was the distinction between like high agency and low agency designers or creatives in general, right? And that if you're a high agency creative header, AI gives you superpowers, right? Like you don't need to look at it and say this thing's going to replace me, or like, oh my gosh, like AI is trained on like other people's work, whatever. Like that genie's out of the bottle. You can take that tool and you can use it to 10x your workflow, be 100 times more productive, 100 times more creative, and just generally like make doper shit. And Petter, it's a pleasure to watch you do it in real time. I mean, you and I are both like very in the weeds with AI, but you're way more on the visual side of it. Like there was an image that you're going to show us here in a little bit that you scaled, I think, to like 16K or something like that. Like the ridiculousness of some of the shit that we're doing over here behind the scenes is insane. So I thought it'd be really cool to have you show us some of the stuff that you're doing, just kind of like off the dome, whether it's for Off Menu or it's even just like the obscurity of the posters that we're designing for the office and for like the Cowboy conference room and stuff like that.
Oh, that sounds sick. And I just want to add to that too, right before you begin, Petter, is in the time I've come to know you over the last couple of months and seen the work you do, not only is your work, and I'm not trying to just glaze over Petter right now. Listen, dude, your work's good, but you operate at a crazy clip. Like the amount of work that you get done in a period of time is, and at the quality you do, I don't see that a lot. And so it started to kind of blow my mind. At first, when you said like 75% of your workflow involves AI, I was like, whoa, that's way bigger than I thought it would be. And then as I'm thinking about it, I'm like, this makes a lot of sense. So, dude, I want to see this because it's wild how fast you move.
Wow, putting me on the spot. Thanks.
Yeah, so better be good.
Oh yeah,
We're kicking
welcome to release notes.
Yeah, should I just share my screen?
Just do it, man. Show us what you got.
All right, let me close out all the tabs that I don't want you to see. And
you got to clear your browser history, the whole bit.
Yeah. Do you want Hunter, do you want to give an intro to what we're even making with these posters?
Yeah, sure. So just for the background, And it kind of angers me because I saw that Cole DeRoshi, shout out Cole, amazing designer, originally started Today in Design, is also making Cowboy stuff. So this has nothing to do with Cole. The off menu partners, the crew. Petter, if you ever get tired of Hunter, come work with me, says Brett. Brett, you can't afford him, dude. Sorry. But the off menu crew, we do like pretty heavy like camping trips every year, fly fishing, camping, whatever. And so last year, we did Glacier National Park. We all got like cowboy hats and new fly rods, and like anyways, it's a whole thing. Petter here is Czech and wore a cowboy hat at his wedding. Okay, this man got married in a cowboy hat. So this runs deep, and we decided to turn one of the conference rooms here at the Outpost into a cowboy conference room. So it's like extremely cowboy themed. It's going to be hilarious once we finish it. So this is the start of a set of 3 pieces of artwork for that room.
Petter, does Hunter wear Tecovas boots when he goes camping?
Yes.
I don't even own them. I should get some. That'd be sick. Dude, trust me, I will show up to this fucking show in a goddamn cowboy hat.
Okay. All right. Prove it.
I'll pull my Chris Sacca.
Prove it. All right.
Yeah, so
let's see
this
workflow here.
piece right here. Yeah, so this one, like this is like 80% of it is Kriya. I usually start with ChatGPT to help me with prompting because I'm too lazy to type. So I just like, I spill out all of the right keywords and then it just, have it kind of rewrite into something that makes a bit more sense and just copy paste it into Kriya. So this is my thread here inside of Kriya. You can see like there's a like huge ton of images right here. Most of them are not that good. So it's a lot of just like, sifting through everything and finding the right piece. With Kriya, what's interesting is that you can combine these different presets or like, sort of trained models for the imagery. So I have some Edward Hopper style. I have one here that's supposed to like help with some lighting. I have some like trippy illustration style in here as well. And then you can actually put in like reference photos. So I like look up some, photos from Yellowstone, the show, or like 1883. Just like find kind of, cowboys on horseback and just kind of get the angle right. And you can actually like adjust the weight to these models, which is the most helpful thing in here. And you can kind of play with it. So like each time you generate a batch, like you can see that it kind of gives you, it's using the flux model, which is super fast. So you kind of get these, and you can say like, oh, this is actually like, from the side, I kind of want to have it be more like straight on with the face. And so you kind of, get that right. And with Kriya, it's best thing about this is you have like the whole suite of these different tools at hand. You have image generation, right? You have editing tools. You have the enhancer. I was using Magnific previously, but now I just found like, with the addition of Topaz model and everything, you can like scale up images up to like 22K, which is just crazy. So like for AI, like image generation, I just use Kriya. Like, yeah.
Yeah. So to clarify though, like you've completely moved away pretty much from like Midjourney and Magnific, and you're like, I'm just in Kriya.
Yeah. I mean, Kriya now even has like ChatGPT image, so you can use ChatGPT like 404 image generation. It's all of these other models, so you can kind of play with it. I found that like between Flux and ChatGPT, like that's the 2 models that I use the most. If you want to get the details right, you use ChatGPT. So like if I used my prompt over here, it kind of takes a while. But then sometimes you get something that looks kind of right. And so you kind of just get that image, paste it over here, and then you would use that in Flux as a reference image to kind of hone in on the details. Right.
Interesting. So do you prefer this over like have you played meaningfully with like Runway or Flora Fauna?
Man, I've been trying to get into Flora Fauna. Like everybody's been kind of talking high praise about it, but I just didn't have the time for it. Yeah, I wish I could have some more time to try out these different tools.
You're just kind of like, you get that, like moving over to Korea from Magnific was like its own transfer of knowledge, and you don't want to do that a bunch, because there's a lot of tools coming out that have like a new shiny feature. It's like, when do you decide to play, and when do you decide to be like, this is the one I'm going to use?
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably paying for a lot of these other tools that I just don't use. I just, Korea's my happy place right now, so that's what I use right now. I'm happy like for someone to convince me that something else is better for sure.
I'm
So
looking
you're
at
saying that there's a
Rive
lot of like
yellow.
useless credit card charges on the off menu cards, and I'm just now
Probably.
finding out about this.
I love that.
Sweet.
Yeah, so this has taken a while, but like I think there's one image that I found here that was kind of useful for this. And honestly, like after that, it's a lot of manual work. So like I brought this image over to the enhancer. Um, let's switch over to that tab, and then like you can use like Topaz for all the way up to 16K with their generative model, which like adds a lot of like hidden detail if you want that. So like you can really like, dial up the creativity setting and just have it add like these different, creases and textures and everything like that. Or you can just use the Topaz model, which goes up to 22K. It really eats into your credits, but it's fine. So I got this image, moved it over to Photoshop, and yeah, then it was just like I wanted the star to be a lot more dramatic. I had to like generate this like piece of grass in here, so for that I actually just used generative fill inside of Photoshop, and yeah, then you just kind of mask it, right, to clean up the background, because I knew that I wanted to just kind of recreate the star, uh, the sort of sky, and add a lot of more skies in there. So I just kind of masked this, added this little gradient behind, and then I just found some photos on like Unsplash, like old school way. Just kind of grab this. I found this little
legacy design.
legacy design. Yeah, so I added that over here. Traditional like lightened, blend mode. Add that in there. And I was like, maybe we just make it more dramatic. So I grabbed this one, and then just added it in here. And then like previously, to kind of blend these two together, I would do like a lot of these different layers, and then just kind of have different blend modes on them. Maybe use like diffuse on them. But now with Kriya and like Magnific and all of these different tools, you can just kind of export this, like re-export this again at like smaller size, so that like a lot of the detail kind of gets lost, and then you run it through the enhancer again, and then it kind of blends those two images together much more nicely. So that's what I actually did in here. You can see that like, yeah, it kind of blended those together again. It even added some detail here on the cowboy. And that's what I found is like if you kind of run this like multiple times, you like generate an image, and then kind of run it through an enhancer, then you scale it back down, and then you run it through an enhancer again. For some reason, it just works better than if you just kind of keep scaling up.
Wow. That's crazy,
that to me though is like, that's such a small thing that goes so far.
Yeah,
I don't think most people, at least from what I've seen, like most people aren't going to take it into Photoshop, do the alterations, make the gradients, etc., and then pull it back into Kriya or whatever else, right? Like that extra step just adds so much more polish.
I love seeing the way that designers and creatives are using these visual tools. I know we've been seeing Brett talk about stuff, obviously Fee, Tatiana, Andy Orso from Framer does some really fun experiments and stuff that he shares, and I got to see some of it live in his video editing. And I'm still blown away by how many tiny little steps seem so intuitive to you guys. Whereas me, like when I do this, I sometimes get discouraged by the how the output is not very deterministic, and it's like, man. And it seems like you have really nailed down how to be like which levers to pull and when.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, so like
This is great.
this is what we're working with, like the final piece. Now, Hunter asked me to also do like a, like front face image of like with his actual face. That's where I
Uh-oh.
found like, it gets it kind of wrong. Like, remember when we were doing like the statues for release notes, it was like, like on the like 900th try, it kind of got it right. But then it was also about like just like kind of adjusting it inside of Photoshop and getting that right, making his face thinner, all of that type of
Wait,
stuff.
wait, wait, wait. Hunter asked you to put his face on the cowboy for the
Yeah,
poster in
dude.
the office.
To be clear, hold on. I did. Yes, I did. But to be clear, I actually said that it needs to be the three of us. And one needs to be me,
Three
one needs to be
amigos.
Petter, one needs to be Christian. I think that would be super sick. So
You look like a not scary Rip from Yellowstone.
I do. It does, like, that's the thing I love about the AI stuff is like it doesn't even look like me, but it does in a way. Like
Yeah.
I think the only way to really nail the face is if you actually run the image models via like your own API. That way you can customize the limitations, right? Otherwise, if you run it straight through, ChatGPT, for example, it's going to say, well, that I can't modify somebody's face. That kind of breaks my rules. But I think if we run it through our own API, we could do it.
That's funny. Look at this marble man here. And,
It looks
here's
like
the-
Josh Allen. That's what it looks like.
You have a Josh Allen kind of thing to you, a Chris Pratt kind of thing, like before
Okay.
he got fit. And then there's this. This is how you fix it, guys. Just stop trying to get all fancy. This is my contribution for the office art. Not sure if this makes the cut, but I think we're close. We could certainly get a Hunter face put into this one.
Cole says play with Omni reference in Midjourney.
Yeah, and I've tried to do that, and it's again, I'm a smooth brain. I'm curious how you guys would do this. Do you use Omni reference a lot? I mean, it's like intentionally there, Petter?
Man, I don't even know what that is.
That's Midjourney's like new update from about a week or so ago, I think, or it might be
Oh.
2 weeks, 3 weeks, and it's basically allows you to reference objects in an image or an image, and like get really good accurate references in new images.
Yeah.
Before he got fit is wild.
I don't even know what that means.
I said you looked like Chris Pratt before he got fit.
Oh.
In the photo.
Shout out Chris Pratt.
Shout out Chris Pratt. This is crazy here, Petter. Like I had no idea how involved you'd get. So how much of this do you use for motion design too?
For motion, not a lot actually. I don't even know what tools there are out there for motion. Like
Korea has a little bit of something for motion, don't they?
Yeah, we used something for like videos for some client work. Just like snapshots of an office or something like that. Where you don't have to have like that much detail.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think like the video models are there like for like really like delicate work. Just for shits and giggles, why not?
Well, and I'll say this because we have Gary Simon joining us pretty soon, and he's going to show us some crazy stuff he's been doing with Rive. Now, Rive, I've been hearing awesome stuff about, and still have not had a chance to build or design something in it. Have you messed with Rive at all?
Yeah, I love Rive. Yeah.
Ooh. What are you using Rive for? Play or for anything production?
Yeah, so for one of our clients' data, we did like these like really technical illustrations, where like if you did it with like an MP4 or like in After Effects, it would just like eat into the loading times on the site. So like for lightweight animations that are vector based, I think it's the best thing out there, honestly.
Oh, big endorsement. Alex asks, "This is so sick. Thoughts on Midjourney versus Korea?" Well, you already said Midjourney's not part of your stack anymore, like at all. Do you even have a subscription there?
No, I canceled it. I think I was still logged in like when they did like Discord logins, and I think I just kind of lost my Discord login, so I just kind of gave up on it.
Do you know they have an interface and you don't have to use Discord anymore? Do you even you're not
Yeah,
even
yeah.
that
No, yeah, I know about that.
Okay, okay. That is awesome, Petter. You gonna hang with us to watch some of this Rive magic?
Sure, sure.
Ooh, I like that.
Oh, we got to force him? Oh,
We got
shit.
a whole thing going on,
Okay,
ladies and
can you hear
gentlemen.
me? Test, test, test.
We
There he
can
is.
hear you.
Oh my
Awesome.
god, look at this setup he's got.
Yeah, I
Gary,
got the whole studio up and running for this.
why you coming in making us look so good here with your setup? That's crazy, man. So Petter just got done showing us some incredible ways he's using AI in his work. Petter with some sick work. Got a video
I
for
watched
you coming up.
initially, and then I realized my stuff wasn't set up, and so like literally within 3 minutes, I finally got it all. I was like, oh, couldn't get this monitor working. I have 3 monitors over there. Like this is nuts. This is a mess. That is a monitor back there, the big screen. So I'm like
That is well,
trying
and
to get it all working.
so for those who don't know, Gary Simon, an old friend of mine, who has been on YouTube. He has been a designer since, I mean, for freaking 20 plus years, I think. You've been on YouTube, million followers plus, been teaching design for years now. Fun fact, before I started doing media, and this was maybe 3-4 years ago, I reached out to Gary and I said, "Hey man, you making any money?" And Gary
Not
said,
anymore.
"Yeah." Well, at the time, he said, "Yeah," which was enough to convince me to go full time into this whole thing. And I look now, I think you got some crazy studio setup in there, and you've been using it to play guitar and to crush in Rive. I think that's basically all you do all day long.
Yeah, yeah. For a long time, after I built this, like it was a 6-month process, and like I got out of design and my business, and like, dude, I had to spend like 8 hours, 10 hours a day, like trying to build everything. I had to become an electrician with ChatGPT. Thank God it was around then, doing all this stuff, and so I kind of like got out of the groove for a bit, and so now I'm fully back immersed and stuff, and I'm not playing pool as much. It's so hard not to play pool. It's freaking so hard, not to play, get up there with the stage and make light shows and stuff. So anyhow, yeah. So Tommy asked me to come on and I mess with Rive a little bit. And I've been, I just kind of wanted to approach this from there's a lot of people who are UI UX designers and they're still hesitant to get into Rive because they open it up for the first time and they look at it and they're like, what is this? Because it's kind of strange. And there are a lot of different concepts and they all tie together, but you have to spend time in each one of those concepts for it to all to stick together like glue.
Mm-hmm.
So let me know if this works. I'm going to go ahead and try to do a split screen on my own. Like, can you see me? Oh, obviously you're going to see yourself.
Okay.
If I come down here and go to Rive. Okay. Can you see this screen? Okay.
Yeah, I think this looks good.
Okay. All right. So first I'll show you a couple of the projects that are more full. And some of you may have seen this already. I just recently coursed on this. And when you look at this UI, I mean, it looks kind of crazy because there's a lot of flexibility. And when you have a ton of flexibility in the tool to kind of control every step of the way, every interaction, it's going to be a little bit, I guess you could say, overwhelming. But we can do so much cool stuff. So like if I play this right here, what's cool about this, and there is audio, but I didn't have it routing, so you can't hear it. This is a weapons customizer. I always wanted to be able to like learn how to make like something cool, like you see in Call of Duty, and Rive is like the perfect tool for the job because it's not just for web. Obviously, it's for Unity, Unreal game. It's for Flutter. There's so many different things. And so it's just fun to come in here and really play around with this as a designer, because if you want to do something like this before, you would have to know code, or you'd be working with somebody else who has to understand code. So what I wanted to do is kind of show you a real quick project. This is just another demo of like the crazy stuff that we can do. If I zoom up here a little bit. Now, all these assets, of course, are generated by AI, but we can just come in and make them fun and just interactive. Here's a cool one where we're utilizing Rive's layout feature. So just like in Figma, where you don't have to use auto layout and you can piece together a whole layout, it's the kind of same concept in Rive. All of these assets as well are generated by AI. The little kid, this little clay sort of 3D asset in the background. But what's
Generated
really
by
cool,
AI outside of Rive, correct?
yes,
And
AI
okay.
outside of Rive. That was like ChatGPT stuff here. But look how cool this is. I mean, with the layout features, hey, guess what? If I switch to this mode where you can play it, it's like it'll even work for mobile right out of the gate. And so what if, for instance, and this is going to be hopefully my very short 5 to 10 minute demo. What if, for instance, we wanted to make this little picture frame, which by the way, is a single rectangle. That's all it is. But because we have the ability to stack strokes and fills and feather them, and also individually control the blend mode of each one of those on a single layer, you can create, kind of really complex shapes with one vector layer, which makes it fast. But what if we wanted to make this so that when somebody hovers over maybe this little picture frame, maybe it glows and it has like this interesting blur scan line effect or something, just to indicate, hey, we want to, just to indicate you can click on this and something can happen. So there's 2 tabs here in Rive, and what you could do is like hit tab just to go back and forth between them. So we have the design tab here. And so I quickly redesigned these assets. So this is what we want it to look like on hover, but we need to make it function. So what does that look like in Rive? How do you make a hover effect that will loop indefinitely while you're hovering over it? What does that process look like? So this is for everybody who hasn't really touched Rive yet. Simply, once we have it designed here, and there's just 2 different layers here, we go to animate. So when we go to the animate tab, we have the state machine. Then you see all these, if I can't, I can't zoom up, but on the left side, you'll see a bunch of different various timelines. And we call these animation timelines. And essentially, the state machine is the brain that connects them and determines when they're going to play. So if I wanted to create a new timeline, I'll also call this frame on, as in this is going to be the timeline for when the mouse is hovered over the frame. What's going to happen? All right. Well, the first thing we'll do, we'll take the beam right here. We're going to add a keyframe at the opacity to make sure it shows up. Initially, though, the opacity will be 0, and then we'll come to frame 5 and set that to 100%. And then we'll come to frame 55 real quick, and then fade it back out. And then we're going to make this a loop. So if we go over here, we change it to a loop, and now it's going to do this. Not fun. Okay, now we're going to go back at the beginning and put a keyframe on the Y and X position, and then come to the end. Do the same thing, except this time we'll just move it down to where we want it to be in place, like right here. Alrighty. And now it's going to indefinitely loop. Now we also have to have one more keyframe on the opacity of the little glow layer, and we'll add that at the beginning. Now, additionally, I'll just change it's a little bit too fast. So I'll slow back the speed to like 0.3. And this is what it's going to look like when somebody hovers over that mouse. Okay, so how do we enact the hover? It's very different because usually we're dealing with CSS and JavaScript and stuff like that. So what we do is we go back to the state machine and we have to add an input. And you can have 3 different types of inputs: number, Boolean, or trigger. We want a true or false value to determine when this thing is hovered over. So we'll just go ahead and specify, I'll call this frame hover. And then we're going to add a listener. And the listener is going to be tied to the hitbox. Or in other words, if we hover over this thing, this is the thing where it should start playing, right? So it's going to be the picture frame. So if I grab that really quickly, and we're almost done here in a second, in the target, we'll say, all right, this is the actual hitbox. And then on pointer enter, we want to come down here and specify framer hover. We're going to set that Boolean to true. All right, we have one more. So it's just going to be frame hover on. We're going to have another listener. We'll just duplicate it. This is going to be framer hover off, and hang tight. This is almost over. What we'll do now is specify, and we'll change this to true on pointer exit. Final step, add a layer in your state machine. And then on entry, because entry means on upload when it first starts playing, we're going to drag on the frame. Oh, let's do this real quick. Duplicate this because we need a second timeline for the off state to reset those keyframes. So this will be at 0%. This glare is going to be at 0%. There we go. This will be frame off. So that's the one that we point to the entry. So framer off goes here. Now, if we were to play this, this is what it looks like. It's in the off state. Doesn't work yet. It's going to work in 1 second. Then we take frame off. We create a condition that goes to the frame on. And in the condition, this little blue button, we could specify right here, if frame or hover is true, then go to the frame on keyframe or animation timeline. So if I play it and I hover, there we go.
Nice.
Now, if I hover off, it's not going to work. You're like, why? Well, because it gives you so much flexibility. We can make it do something entirely different on the hover off state. But to make it obvious, all we have to do is just take frame off. We'll drag another connection and we'll say if frame or hover is false, and then we'll create it and make it go back. Final step, frame or hover is true. Okay, so now if I hover over this, okay, one final thing. If you want those to be like blended, you take all three of them, change the duration to like 300 milliseconds. And now finally, if I move this down a little bit, we just create a little brand new interaction that will, what's so cool is that all these timelines are interacting with each other and playing at the same time. And it's very performant. And what's also cool, the final thing I'll show you is like, yeah, this will work as well as you would expect, like at a mobile phone. Still works. Very, very fun stuff. So that's the quick demo that I had for you all.
Dude.
Just to show like how freaking cool Rive is. And it is a setup work to do something like that, but you have maximum control. And that's what I like about it. Because some tools, the design tools, like, yeah, you have a hover. It's a simple hover. You can't control like the very fine details of the hover off state. So that's just one of the tiny use cases that you can use Rive for. And so I'm super excited to keep on using it and going forward.
So I want to make a quick call out. Not sponsored by Rive, us or
Gary. No, I don't even work with Rive.
And so the thing I want to call out is the fact that, Gary, I remember talking to you and you were like, hey, kind of got bored of doing design a little bit. And the new tools recently have made you feel like, and I've said this before too, that this is like the old internet days where you could just create things and just ship stuff. And it was super fun. And it seems like Rive has kind of invigorated you again.
Oh yeah, for sure. And there's other reasons why that's happened, but which I guess would be a decent possible segue into the other topic that I wanted to kind of discuss real quick. And that would be, the fact that I'm getting back into to design work myself. And maybe we could talk a little about like AI and cursor. Like I did a video a few days ago talking about how far I got in my freelance / agency website that I'm building. I cannot believe it. Like, I've been a coder for a long time, but I've always been a designer first, much better designer than I am a coder. So I skipped trying Lovable and Bolt. I think a more natural progression for me was to try Cursor and Windsurf. And I just did, that was my first full project trying it out. And I can kind of show you guys a little bit of it. But I could not believe like how capable, these new language these coding models are. So let me come over here real quickly. Where's my Figma? There we go. Yeah, so I'm starting Soul Pixel, and that's the name I'm kind of getting back into design work. And this is kind of the idea that I have for a quick hero section. I started off with this, designing the hero section. And I was like, you know what? I don't really know if Cursor is going to be able to knock out everything I want, because I want a full client management system. I want an ordering system, invoice system. I'm not relying on any type of separate SaaS for these things, because there's a million SaaS for all that stuff.
You're going to build it all in-house.
Oh, it's already built almost. So here's the live version. And mind you, there's a lot of issues with the layout, and it's not really fully obviously fleshed out. But what's really cool is like it has a login authentication. Login authentication, that's easy to deal with. There's nothing exciting about that. But here's the back end. Now, I did not design this at all. This is kind of just AI choosing to randomly stitch stuff together. I'm going to go in after the fact and start editing this. But what's really cool is like I already have an invoice section. The ordering system works. It's integrated with Stripe. I have the ability to add retainer slots. I'm entertaining different pricing models. I'm not sure. I've been out of it for like 12, 13 years. I see people doing stuff like design sprints for like $10,000 for 2 weeks or whatever. I see people charging, the retainer based, like Brett from Design Joy. So I'm experimenting with different ideas myself in terms of pricing. And I'm able to do some like really cool, sorry, I have like swear words all over here. But it has a coupon system. I cannot believe I've been able to code this. And it's funny because a lot of people are like, as soon as you get into Cursor, it's like, if you want to do any type of decently sized project, it just doesn't work. Well, it's probably because you're using one prompt. Like, come on, I've prompted this thing hundreds of times to get to this point. So it is very capable, and it probably does help that I have a technical background, so I can kind of use the verbiage, that you would typically use. But yes, you can build full projects. This is Next.js. This is Supabase. I have the Supabase MCP connected to Cursor. I'm learning all about that stuff. For me, I don't see any reason for someone like me who can vibe code with Cursor to start integrating all these services, these secondary third-party services that cost me money when I can just generate it on my own. There's already like the ability to like comment on these, hopefully I don't have like bad stuff here. So there's already a comment system, and here's the kind of deliverables. This looks like crap, mind you. It's all
How
going
long
to
did
look
this
1,000
take
times
you
better.
so far? With
Like
the
6
progress?
days.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's
That
like
is
6
great.
days. So yeah, I mean that's kind of what I've been focused on. It's a little bit scary because I haven't been doing design work in a long time, like on a client basis. Of
Right.
course, designing for the purpose of teaching others is very different than designing for clients. So I'm excited because, I have this big studio now. I'm not utilizing it like at all. And I think what I ultimately want to do is get back into design work just myself, hire on people because I obviously have the ability to create designer roles, and I can, obviously push design work onto other people eventually, but I want to get back into it myself, and really cover it as much as possible and allow people who want to hire me to allow me to cover their project on the channel for purpose of teaching and stuff like that.
Ooh,
And eventually get a designer in here and start teaching that designer and make it part of the series. Cause you guys are really inspired me to like start kind of thinking outside of the box in terms of turning this into like a more robust media business. So yeah, I digress, but yes.
Let me see your face real quick. I have a question for you.
What's
This
up?
setup you have is great, by the way. So, what's awesome about everything you just said? First of all, you've got a knack for. You can tell you've been teaching because you've got a knack for like succinctly getting to the things. Like I feel like I know Rive right now. But the other thing
Thank you.
that's really
I don't know.
the thing that's really interesting actually right now is the fact that you are getting back into like production level work, and you're starting to explore like the tools in 2025. And as a designer going, wait a second, what's possible today? You're kind of relearning, like the fact that you just built that app and your inclination is the same I've seen almost across the board right now. Get the technical pieces done first and then come around on the back end and start making it look better. I'm seeing that a lot of people who are picking up these tools are kind of going, I'm not going to call that the workflow, but that's a repeat thing I've seen.
Let me show you real quick this
go
cool
ahead.
tool. I'm sure there's going to be people watching that would be interested in this.
Yeah.
So the fact that I have all these ugly pages, that's probably going to take the most time getting it to look good, because there's so many different pages. There's probably like 35 pages right now, just different different states and stuff. Now, what do I do? Do I go into Cursor and do I sit there and prompt it and tell it to fix every tiny little design mistake? That would take forever. Could I do it myself? Yeah, I could, but I've never even worked with a Next.js project. I haven't looked at where it's storing the CSS. That might be a mess. So there's this cool tool that I just found out yesterday. And you can see at the very bottom of my screen, it says, what do you want to change?
We can't see your screen right now.
Oh, shoot. Sorry.
Yeah.
Can you see it now?
Yeah, we can.
All right. You see this little prompt? It says like, this is the compact chat area. Okay. What do you want to change? So if I hover over this, you kind of get like the dev console hover, where you can select the elements. Well, what this does is if I just we can add multiple. So if I want to say, okay, these 3 cards, give each of these 3 cards a border that is, 5 pixels and black, whatever. Once you hit enter, it sends this over to Cursor, and the Cursor LLM picks it up and it knows exactly what you're talking about rather than you just trying to reference it through, just by trying to tell it through words what to target. And so I guess this tool also screenshots and sends it as well. So you get better output quicker when it comes to designing, and allows you kind of to design, by just choosing your elements that you're referring to. I think there's going to be better tooling for this in the future, kind of worked within Cursor. But yeah, there's one called Design Mode for Cursor coming out soon. It's not
I
out
saw
yet.
that.
So we're in the infancy right now, which sucks. I wish we were like a year or two down the road, because this stuff is going to be way easier. But even still, having said that, this would take me months or maybe weeks to manually code all this stuff. And I just cut it down massively. So big fan of Cursor and AI to help augment our stuff big time. Just obviously from the development side and the design side, because I work with both. So exciting times.
This is awesome, Gary. I really appreciate this demo here, man. Does that juice you guys up, seeing this Rive stuff? Like, that was kind of crazy to me.
That was amazing.
Rive
I like it.
started as a gaming primarily app, and then really started to lean into, like, because they had the state machines versus like keyframing timelines was kind of their thing. And then they started to be like, well, we want responsiveness. And then all of a sudden they started proclaiming, we're not just a game design tool, we're a product design tool also. What's the export like on that? You just like export code?
So it's a Rive file, a .riv. Like for instance, for web, you just upload that RIV file, and then you import one of their renderers, their runtimes. So like there's one for JavaScript and WebGL, obviously one for Flutter and Unreal and all that stuff. But the same Rive file that you export will work on all those platforms simultaneously. Obviously, how you interface with it with the code, will be different depending on each of the platforms.
And it's extremely performant, is it not?
Yeah, I mean, to an extent, I experimented doing a full Rive project.
Go ahead.
Which ended up like, if you try to play this project right here, this is Rive in Unicorn Studio. If you try to play this like on a crappy laptop, it's just going to be like 10 frames per second. I have a pretty powerful computer. So like this, if you go to projectath.net, you guys can all check this out if you want on your desktop. Hopefully it's more powerful. But yeah, you can do stuff like this. But right now, you'd have to like say, okay, mobile, like slow mobile devices and like really slow PCs won't be able to handle this. But I did it as kind of just an experiment, because this is also Unicorn Studio. And so really the main use case for this is for stuff like this. Like I made this as well as part of a course on my site. Just if I refresh this is on the web version. There is audio, you can't hear it. But what's cool is like every time I click over here, this is GreenSock animation platform, changing HTML and CSS and animating this stuff in. So you could do cool stuff like, interface with GreenSock animation platform through JavaScript. And these can actually communicate, Rive can communicate with GreenSock, which is crazy. But this is the more of the use case where you use Rive as just like an element that's embedded on a web page. That's the primary use case right now. I think as tech gets better and, PCs get faster, we'll be able to integrate, really create full experiences with Rive that are everybody can use essentially.
Dude, Gary.
Sweet.
This is sick, man. I really appreciate you joining us to show us all this. I have my brain is like buzzing on all this. Before you get out of here, I just want to say one thing, or I want to say two things to you. One, for someone who's like diving back into this on the production side, GreenSock animation platform, Rive, you're over here using Cursor, like you're tapped into like the edge of where things are right now. So well played on jumping.
Yeah. Just the final thought is like, that's another thing. Like, do I only want to tackle identity projects? Because that's where most of my clients came from back in the past. Thousands. And so like, I have options, in terms of what I can do, but I really want to do like for my channel, my education business, I want to do design things mostly, because there's so much to tackle: general graphic, identity, product design, motion. Those are the four things.
Your channel's at Design Course, right? At Design Course on YouTube.
Yeah, and then those projects I showed you. If you go to designcourse.com, those are what I've also done is I've committed to doing like a project every month, a project-based course. So I have like 3 or 4 courses this year. I've already put it out. A lot of them are Rive-based. If you always want to check it out for that spam,
please check it out. And lastly, I'll say, hey man, you kind of strike me as a good candidate for a build war.
Maybe. It's a little scary because I don't want to
Yeah.
get owned live. Put me up against the newbie, man. No, I'm just kidding. No, I don't care. No, yeah, I'll do it. Because that's one of those things you might come up with if it's like one of those things where it has to be on the spot, which I've done on live streams in the past. You could come up with an idea like that and it's amazing, but then you could really get stuck. And I was like, oh man, that's scary. So I don't know how you guys do the Build War things, like if it's on the spot concept, like where you have to do it live and just do it, or give me a few days or weeks. That would be fun too. So
yeah, well, we'll reach out because I'm inspired now, man.
Awesome. Yeah, I will do it. I'm up for it.
Awesome.
Hell yeah.
Thanks for coming. Hang out,
I'll
Gary.
see you guys later. All right, bye.
Dude, crazy.
Tommy, why did you awkwardly have had Petter sit here this entire time? Like, Petter's been stuck. You said, Petter, do you want to hang out? And then Petter's just been fucking
I appreciate
stuck.
you, Petter. I didn't realize the depth we were about to dig into. You never know, man. I thought maybe there'd be some opportunities to oohs and ahs, but there was a lot of, that was a dense, an information dense demo, and it got me fired up.
No, it was awesome. Gary's doing some sick stuff.
By the way, this is also Rive. All right.
Hold on. Would you stop for a second? Would you stop? Just stop. Okay. Petter's like, guys, it's fucking 8 p.m. Why am I still here? Petter, dude, thank you for showing us the Cowboy conference room artwork and all the sick shit in Korea and hanging out, dude. I'll see you tomorrow.
See you, Petter.
My pleasure.
Sorry for making you stay up.
All right, buddy.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, oopsie doopsies, but I'm not gonna lose the opportunity here to talk about Unicorn Studio is officially available to the public. Just calling it out. Quietly,
sick. Okay,
launched to the public. So yes, so shilling Unicorn Studio.
How much are you being paid to say
Look
that?
at this, man. Guys, go check out Unicorn Studio.
Yeah.
Unicorn.studio.
Yeah.
There it is. All right. But on that note, one thing I didn't ask our friend Gary was, how are you setting up Stripe inside of that cool system you're building? Because that's going to be a pain in the ass. But you know who it's not?
You know how I would set up Stripe? Yeah. You know what I would do? Here's what I would do if I was Mr. Gary Simon. And Gary, I know you're still watching, so pro tip. Here's what I would do. I would go ahead and commit that beautiful repo to GitHub. You know what I'm saying? Just make sure it's all living in there in GitHub. Got it nice and noted up, some README files, all that good stuff. And then you know what I would do, Tommy? I'd go to bolt.new and I would open that GitHub repo with Bolt. And I would say, Bolt, I need to integrate Stripe in this bad boy. Will you help me out? And Bolt would do it like
Bolt.
a pro. That's the great thing about Bolt. Because let me tell you this. Let me tell you this, sir. All right. Don't interrupt my fucking ad reads, dude. I have integrated Stripe using Cursor and I wanted to stab myself in the eyeballs. Because honestly, just Stripe isn't that fun to integrate with anything, especially if you're doing anything kind of custom into anything like that. The easiest way to do it is with Bolt. That's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
That's how I would do it.
To be clear, I mean, Bolt, by the way, my next chore, nice little build-in Bolt, little game here, probably would help me do chores. What do you do here? I have not played this yet. This was created by a friend of ours, not actually a friend of ours, someone who built a cool tool. But the point is, I just wanted to check this out. What is the chore? Make your chore list. Hunter, name a chore you have to do. Open Amazon packages. Oh, we got a little thing. I want to do another chore. Clean my office. It's a mess. All right. I don't really know what you do at this point.
I am dismayed that you chose to show this to us. I'm going to turn Tommy's screen off and we're going to respond to chat for a second. Jesus.
You don't like games? Hunter doesn't like
Devin Fountain says Webflow does not have the latest runtime due to the new feathering using WebGL 2.0. Yet again, Webflow dropping the ball. So no feathering on Webflow stuff yet via Rive. RIP Webflow. Framer's going to kill you this week. Adrian Fortuna. Oh, what's with the crowd? I think Adrian missed the first half, so he tuned in late. Here's what happened, Adrian. Let me backtrack. Petter Noel from Off Menu came and showed us some sick stuff for generative AI artwork in Korea. And then Tommy awkwardly pretty much made Petter stay while the next guest joined, who was Gary Simon, who showed us some sick stuff in Rive. Shout out design course on YouTube. Gary's crushing it. So now you know that's who it is. Elizabeth Ollie says Gary's a YouTube goat. Would love to see a build war. We're thinking about it.
I'm gonna
Adrian
mute Hunter's
Fortuna
microphone
says
if it keeps
bit
going
of
out of sync.
feedback
Should I
for.
chat?
Does it keep going out of sync?
Yeah, it's a little bit.
Is that what happens?
Bit of feedback though. He wants guest names underneath the guest coming in. Hey, it's my show now, guys. Guess what? We're gonna talk about Unicorn Studio today. And what I'm going to show you is some of the incredible work that you can do when you combine Unicorn Studio with Notion. You know, so we're going to show you some good stuff here until Hunter comes back, because that's when I get to talk about my favorite tools. I will say this.
I have a
though,
solution.
in
I'm
all
coming back. You just
truthfulness,
can't see me. You can only hear me.
watching Petter work through his image gen and AI tools makes a lot of sense why we're able to get such dope things like that beautiful Today in Design logo video that you dropped. How long did that take Petter to make that, by the way?
A few hours.
It's crazy. That is crazy to me. Thing slaps. Came in right for the Unicorn Studio shill. Anytime Hunter leaves me, I'm talking Notion. I'm talking Unicorn Studio. It's going to happen.
You know, I was really angry Friday, and I said that we would not be streaming with Restream on Tuesday. Yet we're here on Restream because we were busy boys.
What?
Shout out the new Release Notes newsletter. Okay, came out today for the first time. But now that my audio is still out of sync, I'm very angry at Restream.
You
again.
look angry. You look upset. I noticed a tone shift in you can see it in your cowboy eyes. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know how nice my setup is, Restream? You know the money that I've spent to make this crispy audio after Kyle Santos tried to say that my audio was not
He didn't
great
try to
in
say
a
it. He
Discord
said
channel?
it loud and clear.
He fucking said it.
Yeah. We got to work on it, man. You got to open some Amazon boxes. We got to get an OBS Pro inside here, you know? It's a fab tool. It is a fab tool. Agreed. So let's talk for a second here, Hunter.
I don't like Adrian Fortuna's feedback. Here's my feedback to you, Adrian. One thing at a time.
We're just trying to be 1% better.
Jesus
all right?
Christ.
And sometimes we're 1% worse, and then the next day we're 2% better. All right?
Devin says, wait, I thought this was sponsored by Bolt. Do you not see? Hold on. I got to move. There we go. Oh, okay. Sorry. I'll let Tommy do it. Back to you, Tommy. There we go. All right. This is sponsored by Bolt because Bolt is the best goddamn AI dev tool there is. All right. Hunter and his want to know how I got these scars there. Elizabeth Ollie says, ha. Not ha, but ha.
Hello, Liz. Good to see you, by the way. This is Liz, who, friend of the show, friend of the party, detached last week. Bolt also threw pretty big banger. Didn't get to see it. A lot of relationships reinforced at old config there, and not our last conference of the year. Not our last conference of the year.
No, speaking of not our last conference of the year, we just confirmed this today, and if my audio is out of sync, just deal with it. Release Notes will be live streaming from Valocon, put on by Mr. Drew Wilson himself, in San Diego in September. Here's what's really cool about this. We're going to do two things. We're going to make this official on Friday's show. We're going to give away 3 tickets to Valocon. So the kind folks over there were kind enough to give us 3 tickets to give away to Valocon. Come hang out. We got some cool speakers. Not only is it Mr. Drew Wilson himself, which, like, by the way, like, Drew doesn't have a huge audience, but I honestly think like he's the true like GOAT design builder. Like, he's just crushed it. We got Christina from Linear. We got Mr. Dan Petty himself. Kathleen Warner.
Ooh,
Linus.
that's gonna be a good one.
Okay, Linus is coming up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, Roji,
Haruko.
let's
We got
go,
Roji.
baby.
Is it Raji or Roji?
Roji.
It's Roji, right? Roji. We got Mr. Rob Hope. I'm not going to pronounce that one. Madison Waldvogel.
Waldvogel, let's
That's a cool name.
go.
Waldvogel.
Hey, there's some hitters here, dude.
Oh, yeah. We got Han, Sebastian. Or is it Sebastian? Michael
Hey,
Flera.
let's go,
Pablo.
Pablo. Hey, this is going to be sick, man. So we're going
Claudio.
to be just yapping, officially yapping. You know it's business when we are officially yapping. And we're probably just going to be pulling these heads in to come and shoot the shit for a couple of minutes, huh? Hey,
That is
Will,
correct. Yes. Mr.
can't
Will
wait
King.
to see Will in person, Will. I'm so stoked to see you, man. This is awesome. What date? What are the dates here, Hunter? What are we looking at?
September 11th to September the
Ooh.
14th, San Diego, California. Like I said, so we're going to give away 3 tickets to Valocon. We're still deciding. This will be an official announcement on Friday. We might even give away the plane tickets. We
Ooh.
might get you there for free
In first
ourselves. We don't
class.
know. No. The show doesn't have that kind of budget. You will be flying economy. And if you would like to upgrade to premium economy, you may do so at your own dime. US
I'm
only.
jumping the gun here, and I apologize. It's Raji. And I messed it up, and I asked him, and I messed it up again. And it's like you get the wrong one stuck in your head, and you can't fix it. And I apologize.
So if you would like us to put the details together on how you could win a trip to Valocon, put W's in the chat right now. I don't care if you're YouTube, X, wherever the hell you are. Put a W in the chat, and we'll keep an eye out for you.
Yeah, this is gonna be.
And then we're gonna go live. We're gonna live stream from there Friday. We're gonna pull some people in on the show to hang out. It's gonna be nice.
This is how much a ticket is, by the way. $1,400.
Yeah.
For one of these.
$1,400.
And we're giving a few of these away for free.
I would like to call out too. We will have a $500 discount code for Release Notes viewers. For those that don't win, we got a $500 discount code. We'll hook you up with. We'll get you off there. And you notice early bird discounts $300. That's not enough for us. That's not enough. We're kicking it up to
We're hooking you guys
$500.
up.
Thanks to Mr. Drew Wilson himself.
Drew Wilson, a boss, by the way. Like Valocon, do you know the story behind? I don't. Do you know the story behind how this came to be, why it came to be?
Dude, it was so long ago when I learned that. I would love you to read.
No, I don't know. I was curious because I'm learning about Valocon.
No, I don't know.
And it's freaking awesome, man, because I've been looking for, like, this says it's a creative tech conference. And when he told me about this and I looked at it, I thought, oh, it'd be like a cute thing. And then I was like, wait a second. This thing's got hitters, and it's actually really interesting. Like this is what I was talking about last week with you when I said I want to see like more builder centric conferences. Oh, there is one. It's Valocon.
I don't, it's not a gas station. I don't know where you're getting this E from. I'm pretty sure it started out to Valio. But
Vallejo.
anyways, Vallejo, where's the E, buddy? Where's the E? All right. You know, come on. It's a pretty small, it's a pretty intimate conference that they put together.
So it'll be a good time.
Their own Zeitgeist. I don't want to put my foot in my mouth. I'm pretty sure that Valocon was first, and then Dan Petty based some of Epicurrence off of Valocon, but I could be wrong.
Okay. Devin, why don't you perplexity search Valocon history? I could. And you know what? Here's the question is, should I perplexity search in Perplexity? Or should I maybe get ready to perplexity search in Safari? I don't know if you've heard about this. Perplexity's raising some coin. Well, we knew this was rumored about a month or so ago. Well, they're approaching the final stages for a $14 billion valuation. $9 billion was their valuation in December. But on top of this, Apple is now rumored to be in talks with Perplexity and a couple of others to find a new search, like an official search partner for Safari. And I think that's interesting. And I want to call something out to you, Hunter. So we can do.
Mm.
You weren't sold on the old perplexity thing here, but there's one thing Chat GPT doesn't have. And it is the ability to get all of these stories surfaced to you in a sort of discovery way for you. So I got like text stuff. I can come in here. I can click on an article, right? I don't, this isn't that interesting of an article to me. I don't know why it's showing, but I can come up and bookmark this. I can add it to spaces that I can then prompt.
Did Perplexity
They
pay you for
didn't, but they
this?
should. They are sending me some
Okay,
swag.
we're going to come back to that. They're going to have $14 billion evaluation and a lot of fresh cash injected. To be clear, though, my argument was always that I prefer deep research in ChatGPT versus Perplexity.
Okay.
I have transitioned all of my searching to Perplexity.
Ooh.
I don't really use Google at all. Everything kind of goes through Perplexity, but I still will have pretty in-depth conversations with ChatGPT about things that I don't want to search. I will show you a use
Okay.
case right now, actually. Let me scroll to the top here. So I've got a trip coming up with the Off Menu lads. We're going to be doing some pretty deep country backpacking. And I said, hey, here's some of the gear I already have. I want the best packing gear for 3 days in the deep backcountry, no expense spared, whatever. I was blown away by the results here, because I have a lot of like personal stuff that I've kind of educated ChatGPT on over time using the memory feature of like my preferences and the products I like and the brands I like and how I like to think about shopping, stuff like that. And I read this list at like 5 a.m. this morning, and I was like, this is crazy because I'm familiar with a lot of these products. And if I would have sat down and done all this research myself over hours, this is probably the exact same list that I would have created
That's
myself,
impressive.
plus a few nuggets that I hadn't heard of before. And so I'm like, okay, this is all great. I'm also going to be fly fishing at the lake, whatever, like how to people typically pack their fly rods. And this is the use case to where this is something that previously I would have had to do a lot of searching for, right? I prefer to just drop this stuff straight into ChatGPT, and I find that for most of my kind of more intense searching, this use case with ChatGPT is going to be much better than a Perplexity for me. But then for anything that I would put in Google, I would just take to Perplexity.
That all
these
sounds
days.
real interesting. Ethan says, "How many times is Hunter going to talk about this trip and gear without inviting us?" Guys, I will have you know that fly fishing and hunting with a bow hunting, are Hunter's CrossFit and hey, I'm vegan. So expect to hear a lot about
Yeah.
it. That's pretty good though. I I'm at first I kind of eye rolled at the idea of like AI SEO, get your stuff shown in these results.
Dude, it's
I
everything.
mean, have you perplexity'd or AI'd yourself to see like what comes up when someone says, "Who is Hunter Hammonds?" Um,
No, I'm too scared. I'm not going
it's
to do that.
interesting to see kind of what it pulls. And so this is a topic that probably deserves like a good deep dive one day with someone smarter than me. But I do think it's interesting that a lot of the results I see out there are very social proof based. Not unlike SEO, but SEO's gotten a whole mix of things over the years. And so you could really start to do some reputation management through these AI search results if you get very deliberate on social media. That's the first thing I'm starting to see. It'll pull a lot from that. It seems to weigh social media content, your bio, your description. If you're on podcasts, it seems to weigh a lot of that very heavily.
You know what? I'm pretty okay with my search results when I just perplexity myself. But I'm more impressed by the follow-up questions that it asks.
Which are like very tied into the things you would
Mhm.
expect. So it's pretty good. I like it. I certainly use it a lot for quick summaries of guests we have coming on or things like that. It has proven pretty reliable so far. And I will say, actually, Perplexity, I get just a much tighter feedback loop of accuracy than I have with ChatGPT. I still run into some hallucination issues more than it seems to be the case with Perplexity for search.
I do as well. I'm looking at buying a rather expensive item for the family, and I've done my own research on it. And ChatGPT kept telling me it had something that I knew it didn't have, and it was literally trying to gaslight me. It's like, well, you should make this purchase consideration because it has this feature, and I literally had to be like, yo, no, it doesn't. Like, it doesn't have that feature. Like, go search. So what I've done, interestingly, at the very beginning of my personalization prompt in ChatGPT now, the very first thing I say is, do not cite any information to me. Don't tell me anything until you search. Always search first and then confirm whatever you thought your knowledge was before you tell me. And it's been a game changer the past few days.
Interesting. Yeah. I don't have to do that with Perplexity
Yeah.
because Perplexity is way better. So looks like we solved that.
Yeah, but your use case is so limited, though. That's the thing. It's so isolated. Like, you're not going to do a search in Perplexity and then say, okay, great, but I'm also considering this and this and this, and then can you make this plan for me? And like, you're not going to do that.
Well,
which is
of
a
course
bummer.
you can. You can absolutely. Why can't I do that? Well, so but there's
It's
a
not.
gap.
It's not the
But there
same.
there is a
man.
gap. Like, for example, I like having my custom GPT is very helpful, and I wish I could reference that some way. Or also the like ability for memory, huge. It's only a matter of time before all of these get memory, right? Like, it's only a matter of time. It's got to be. I mean, like, look at Granola implementing a sort of like, it's not memory, but it's across your conversation. I just think everyone is going to be going in these directions. Like memory, cross result searching, these are going to become table stakes in how many months? You know, it's kind of my
Mhm.
thought.
Pretty soon. Yeah.
Hey guys, guess what? Well, I say guys, but I'm talking to you, Hunter. Guess who we're going to
Okay.
design some stuff with next Tuesday?
Let me guess. Don't tell me. Is it a
It is a
she?
she.
Is she blonde?
Sometimes,
Is she Irish?
most of the time.
Does she work with a German CEO?
Yes.
Do you use products that she helps
I
design?
I just hit my shortcut right now. I'm staring right at the interface.
Does anybody know who it is yet? Any guesses? Any guesses? This is how you're going to win a ticket to Valocon. I'm not kidding. Here we go. If you can name it right now.
Oh, dang!
Devin got a ticket, but he's getting married. So you just stole it.
Devin. Hey, truly, I think Devin, you just snagged yourself a ticket to Valocon.
Valocon. But he's getting married. So I don't know if you want to have your wedding in San Diego. But like,
Yeah. Sorry, Alex. Alex,
Yeah.
you lost.
Yeah, we're gonna have Inga Hampton here Tuesday. Today's kind of a chaotic Tuesday. Next week's gonna be a very good Tuesday. We're gonna have Inga. She's gonna show us all of her tricks.
We're gonna have some fun.
Dude, the work she's doing is crazy.
She's stoked.
Fun fact. I featured her YouTube video in the Today in Design newsletter yesterday. The click-through rate on that was
Which
off the
YouTube
charts.
video was it?
People were like, of her talk at config about how she does the things she does at Raycast. The clicks are crazy on that.
Yeah, she's super cool. And so I met her in person at the Detach party we hosted. Just an absolute joy, man. She is just such a kind soul. Like, she just came in immediately. Everyone she's talking, and just a wonderful person. And it's crazy to think that same person goes and sits down and then just turns into like a sweaty goblin and just goes hard into Figma for like hours and creates this crazy. Everyone who goes hard on any project is a sweaty goblin in my mind. And they're just going like crazy into work. And so we may next week create a sweaty goblin inside of Figma using some of the tools and stuff. So we'll see what happens,
I don't really think you should refer to her as a sweaty goblin.
Her, which is fair.
Like,
that's fair. You're right.
You're about to get a DM that's like, yo, I'm out.
But and she specifically would like a funny challenge. for us to kind of have fun with. So, by the way, there are people who left config of San Francisco last week, took a weekend breather, and then immediately bounced over to London. I know Rid was visiting you because he was on his way to London for the Raycast event he's hosting with Fonz Mans. Inga also was in SF. She's in London right now, and then she's joining us next week. So some of these people are doing crazy work and then making the rounds. And I don't know how people find the energy, but it is awesome.
It is awesome. I like it, dude. I like it. All right. I need to do an experiment with everybody. Okay. And I'm going to do it because Restream lets me down. Here's what we're going to do. This is a live show. This is a live stream. You know, we can do these things. We're going to fix this audio delay.
No, we're not.
Okay. That's what we're going to do. Yes, we are.
You know,
No, we're going to do it right now. We're going to do it right now. We're going to do it right now. Okay. Just hold on. Just chill. Okay.
Clip. He clipped the.
Dude, we should stream.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Like, I've been trying to tell Hunter we need to do it. There may be yeah. There's some things in the works.
All right, here we go. Let's see if we can do it.
What's that watch you got on there, Hunter?
What watch?
Yes, GPT.
You did what?
They said you're asking GPT to troubleshoot live.
No, I'm not actually. I'm trying to go through the Roadcaster app, but it's kind of killing me here. It is not very well designed, to say the
Yeah,
least.
I'm not a fan, right? Because we both have the same thing. I wish you could put like digital icons inside the pads. Be kind of helpful.
That would be pretty smart. Anyways, while I work on this, what else we got going on for the show today? We talked about Love Art and how it's over for all of us.
Love it.
Love it.
You know, I want to kind of hash something out with you, man. Config kind of stole the spotlight. We had the Bolt joining the team here. We had a lot of really cool stuff happen. The newsletter just released. We're doing Tuesdays and Fridays on the newsletter. We'll be announcing all the places to find that on X very soon. Build Wars, my man. There's a Build Wars coming up, and the last week we didn't really get to talk about it. A lot of the news, but like we're back in it. This Build Wars is happening, and we're still putting a lot of the details together. I hope you guys are ready for a summertime magic here on this, because we are on the scout for worthy competitors, willing to put up a little coin. I want to know. You're seeing these tools like Lovert. You're seeing these tools like Rive. You're seeing the way that creating this stuff just for fun, a playground really, is easier and easier. I understand that it's intense getting in these contests. I even did a 15-minute build my own during our party last week, and I was still sweating. I was having a good time though. My question to everyone listening, I want some nominations. I've got some people in mind, and we're in talks with some folks, but I want to know from you guys, who would you like to see square off? What tools would be interesting to see match up together? Let us know, because we're going to make this stuff happen, and we've got ideas, but I want some community engagement around this. I want you guys to let me know what would be cool. So let us know in the DMs, let us know in chat here, let us know on X, anywhere you want. Nominate some folks, and we will be hitting them up.
So we talked about doing the head-to-head, and then we also talked about doing a larger kind of bracket system. Where are you at on that right now?
I like both of those concepts, and I'm not even necessarily sold that every Build Wars has to follow the same format. I think I'm very open to the Build Wars, each episode being a kind of self-contained challenge. I think that's fun. I think it gives us room to experiment, and it also gives us room to incorporate different things. For example, when Brett faced off with Lovable, that was a little bit of a sparring match on X. It was Brett saying one thing. It was Henrik from Lovable saying, "Hey, stuff is dead," and they got to kind of prove that out. Not everything needs to be like this contentious square off. I think sometimes it's a
Right.
question of like, well, what are the tools doing, and who are like the good champions for those tools to come in? Not everything needs to be like a prove yourself, but it is still a really fun thing to watch. So I think for me, I like the per episode, per match criteria. Don't think we need to like make it the same each time. What about you?
I like it. I like where your head's at. I think it's time though, real quick, to test the audio delay.
God, here we go. We gotta watch Hunter move his mouth again.
I gotta come correct for Friday.
Yeah.
Hello.
It looks like the mouth said hello. I maybe we're there.
Did we fix it?
Here's the problem, Hunter, is sometimes it's fine, and then other times it's not fine. So it's like we got to find the teachable moments when they happen, you know?
Yeah. Framer versus Bolt. Bolt versus Lovable. Both would get major hype.
Bolt versus Lovable.
Nah, that's not that interesting to me.
I think after seeing Kriya, I want to see like some Kriya versus Runway or Kriya versus like Flora Fauna people, right? Like I think that sometimes it's about the designer or the builder, and then sometimes it's more about like the tool and what's capable there, and sometimes it's about both. So there's a lot of stuff. Lee says out of sync.
God, Lee,
Try
come
and
on.
decrease the quality. Hunter decreases the quality to 0, man. Like he's done that. He's tried that, you know. Come hang with us at Valocon. Drew's gonna hit us up. Hey, if he doesn't start saying that correctly, you guys aren't invited.
Yeah. Is the video faster than the audio, or the audio faster than the video?
Framer versus Figma sites. That would be interesting. No Figma sites versus Wix. Oh man, you guys, these are words coming out of your mouth and they just make me uncomfortable. Squeamish.
I don't like it.
Runway also runs short. Is that duration limited by your membership, or is it only always like you get 60 seconds? I thought you could go longer if you upgraded your membership with Runway. Movie comps on Discord. I see the video faster than the audio here on Twitter, Alex says. How about for me? Am I coming correct and Hunter's the one that's garbage here? Or is it the whole stream? Let's hear this. The video is faster than the audio. Yeah. WordPress Elementor versus Webflow. Okay. So we're getting back to the roots of the
Seems that way.
some Flash. We'll do Flash versus Rive.
All right, we're gonna do one more test. If the audio and video are in sync, let me know. If it's not, it's not.
Your bit rate is garbage right now too.
My bit rate is garbage.
I just see like crazy choppiness on your video. Tommy's smooth as butter. I thought that said smooth as butts for a second. I was a little confused. Jitter versus Rive would be interesting. Jitter versus Spline Hana would be kind of interesting, although a little bit of a different use case. Audio video is good, Tommy. Thanks, Alex. I appreciate you. Don't worry, I'll carry. Guys, I'm ready. I can handle the weight. A24 shirt, you know. I'm part of their membership, by the way. Really cool thing.
I don't know what that means.
They got a swag membership for us nerds. For you guys, some swag drops, I think. We've been talking about. In the works. Not in the works. In the planning stages. Runway also learns short movie compositions. Oh, competitions on Discord. I did not know this. The following and entry numbers are insane. Okay. I have a fix for.
I'm bored. I'm bored. Show's over.
Hunter's these poopy pants because his setup. We're gonna fix it. We will see you guys on Friday. We have this Friday some pretty great guests. Dan Shipper is joining us to talk about AI automation, And a lot of the interesting things he's doing with Every in media in this kind of new AI era. And it's not a topic, we've touched on it, but it's something I've been wanting to dive deep in. We have him and Jay Kapoor, an investor, also focusing on companies in entertainment, AI automation, two really unique point of views. Come ready, guys. We're going to talk a lot about this stuff on Friday. I'm super stoked.
It's gonna be sick.
Stay tuned for the newsletter drop out today. It's going to be good.
Newsletter drop is out today. I don't know how you subscribe, but
Yeah.
go subscribe. I guess technically, is there a way to
You gotta
subscribe? I don't know.
Yeah.
No, there's going to be a six site coming out next Friday, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
Next Friday, we will unveil the release notes live.com.
And next Friday, oh, man. You know, I'm done talking about what's coming. I'm just going to come with the drops because there are some drops.
Okay.
So,
All right. Then if that's the case,